a driver's license? Yes, but I rarely make use of it. I do drive, but it's not safe. Like a lot of autistic people, my reaction time drops, falls off a cliff when there is a lot of sensory input. Do I have a car? Kind of. I share a car. I have access to a car. I can drive quite well, unless there is sun coming through the windshield very brightly, or there is a car going by that's really, really loud, you know? There can be situations where my reaction time drops. I lose the ability to take in the information around me, and it's quite stressful. It's quite stressful. I don't get the sense that it's completely safe. How many crashes? None, but it's because I'm extremely tense. The entire time I am driving a car, I am clenching every muscle in my body. I drive, and then the next day, I feel sore in places I didn't even know I had muscles, man. Like, parts of me that should not be getting a workout are getting a workout because I am tense the entire time. It's normal to freeze when you get nervous. I mean, it depends, right? And it depends on what we're talking about as freezing. So there are a lot of people who have anxiety, where when they get nervous, which is not exactly what I have or what I described, right? I didn't say anything about nervousness, but people often misinterpret autism as anxiety. And I say this not just because I am personally bitter about the ways that my autism is perceived as anxiety, but also because I think it's useful for people to know. I think that there are a lot of people who think that they are anxious and really they're just autistic, but I don't know for sure. But anyway, for me at least, freeze is something that you do if you are anxious, right? You freeze up because you're scared, right? And you can't move. You're too scared to move. That's not what it feels like for me. For me, I just kind of stop taking in information about my surroundings, and then afterwards, I am quite afraid because I'm like, I don't know if there were cars around me just now. Like, I have to check my blind spot again because I am not aware of the road state. It's not spacing out. I think it's really hard to describe if you don't experience it. Dissociation, no, oh my God. You guys keep using anxiety words to describe an experience that you just don't have. It's not that your brain stops recording, more like tunnel vision, yeah. So you can take in only a certain amount of information and process it at a given time, right? You are currently filtering out many sensations. It's a common thing to be like, oh, you're filtering out the sensation of your tongue in your mouth, and that is true. You're filtering out the sensation of your clothes on your body. If there is air flowing through the space you're in, you're filtering out the sensation of that on your body. There are flavors in your mouth that you are not paying attention to. Your nose might be stuffed and you're not thinking about it. You are now breathing manually, right? All of these things. For an autistic person, you're more aware of this. You're more aware of this much more of the time. And because of that, it makes it harder to process the sensory information that you're taking in the moment. If something is very loud, it's loud to other senses too. Okay, for you, if you're in a very loud room and someone says something to you, you have to be like, wait, sorry, what was that? It was loud, I couldn't hear you. Now imagine if there was spillover into other senses. So if it was very bright and someone said something to you, you'd have to be like, wait, sorry, can you repeat that? The light is very loud, right? And I think that's the best way to explain it. So when a car drives by and it's very loud, it's too bright, I can't see. Right? Yoga moms are super loud. Yes, the hot yoga moms are crazy loud. I have a fantastically terrible time whenever I go out with them, and yet I'm still trying to do this to myself. Wouldn't that be synesthesia? No, not even remotely. Synesthesia is when different senses have relationships to each other, not their power spills into the power of others, right? It's where you're like, yellow is a sweet baby boy, or yellow smells like the number 9, you know? That's not what I'm experiencing. What I'm experiencing is that all of my senses are sharing resources. And so if one is using a lot of resources, my others don't have as much bandwidth, right? I just cannot, I can't. Yeah, RAM is limited. That's how I'd explain it. And it's not anxiety, right? Sometimes there are situations where having this happen will make you anxious, right? If you're at a work event and you can't hear what people are saying and you're having a hard time thinking well, you are going to be embarrassed, nervous, worried that someone is going to say something to you. I need you guys to know that at a VTuber networking event about a year ago, someone asked me if I was a VTuber, and I did not understand the question, and based on her facial expression, read that my answer ought to be no. And so I was like, oh, no. Anyway, this person is a VTuber I really respect and like. And so when she found out that I was a VTuber, she thought that I just didn't like her and didn't want to talk to her for like a year. For like a whole year. I talk about this kind of situation making me nervous, and people think that the problem is anxiety, but it's not, right? I'm nervous about this kind of situation because I'm bad at it. And that'll make you pretty dang nervous, having to do something you're bad at that people don't even fully understand the way you're bad at, right? Like when you try and explain it to people, they mostly get anxiety and they're like, oh, that's okay, I'll stay with you. You know, I'll make sure that you don't get scared. I'll reassure you. And it's like, I don't really need reassurance. I need the music turned down. I need earplugs. I need to put on a dress that I can't feel on my skin so much. I need to put on looser clothes, right? There are all of these things that might help, but it's not really about anxiety. And when you try and talk to people about it, they usually get, you know, anxiety out of it. Especially when you're like, oh, I need to be alone for a second. People feel like, oh no, we've made her feel bad and she's like running away and we want to show our support by staying close to her. And it's like, please don't stay close to me. I don't feel bad. I love you very much. I don't feel like you don't care about me. I feel like the world is too tight right now and I need to take it off for a second. Yeah, I love you, but go away. And it's really hard because people will try and take care of you that way. If only we could mentally share thoughts, right? Oh, I mean, that's what music is. That's what it's for. At least for me, that's how I feel it. But yeah, no, people really struggle to understand that it's not anxiety. I don't feel anxious. Sometimes having to do this in a public place will make me anxious, like with driving, right? I'm fundamentally going to be bad at driving in a lot of pretty unpredictable situations with possibly very bad consequences. So when I drive, I am nervous, but the problem isn't nervousness. Nervousness is a very, very rational response to the situation. Anxiety isn't the cause, it's a potential side effect. Exactly. And so I think that a lot of autistic people get anxious about social situations because they're bad at them and they're not sure they'll be understood. Personally, I don't that much anymore. I have stopped caring, particularly. Neurotypical people don't get it, but also sometimes other autistic people don't get it. I mean, it's really hard to explain these kinds of very subjective and personal experiences, right? You envy the not caring. I mean, there are situations where I care more or less. I struggle at work still because I care, right? I care quite a bit at work. Yeah, the tech fields, there are so many autistic people that it's super forgiving. This I would agree with, although there's this phenomenon that tends to happen when you work at a bigger company. So you have your little group of tech people, right? And then they're all gonna avoid it. Most of them aren't even gonna be there. If there's like a work party coming up, they're all gonna be like, oh, achoo, I'm so sick. Oh no, I can't go. All of the people who work downstairs, right? Like all of the like HR people, all of the people on like product in the sense that they're like designing stuff, they're all gonna be there. And there is a way that like, and I mean this is a positive thing. This is really nice. Those are all girls who know that I'm a girl, who know that they don't know me as well, and they all try and include me in things. And I think that's really, really sweet, right? The very nice women who work downstairs will be like, oh, we should go get Ellie and we should make sure she's part of things. I hate it so much. I hate it every time. I hate it every single time. Okay, I've talked about this before. I don't really think that introversion and extroversion are real things. I don't. I just don't. The whole idea of like, do you get energy from internal or external sources? That's nothing. That's nothing words for people who don't care if something means nothing. I get energy from different people in different situations, different amounts, right? Like I get a lot of energy from hanging out with like Joe and John, right? I find that really peaceful. Other people too, Wolf, other really close friends. If I'm just hanging out with them one-on-one, I am getting energy from that interaction. Even one-on-several, right? If we're sitting in one of our homes and we're just like joking and laughing and talking about stuff, I find that really, really nice. And if I sit alone for too many days, I am going to feel undercharged, right? No, but also, again, I don't really think it is a spectrum at all, right? Because there's the whole idea of like, oh, I guess you're just an ambivert. And it's like, okay, but everyone's an ambivert? Everyone is, right? Like if I sit alone for too long, I get weird and sad and like empty. And if I interact with people too much, I get weird and sad and empty. I just don't really think that introversion versus extroversion is a thing, right? I think that different people like different kinds of interactions more, and that everyone gets, you know, it feels more at peace with people that they know better. You can go literally months without talking to anyone, and I have, and I'll say it made me weird. It made me worse. I find introversion and extroversion, the way that people talk about it, really weird and scammy. And I think that if you are finding that no interaction is good for you at all, you are a very rare sort, or you are wrong and you're interacting in ways that hurt you and you need to learn better interaction form. You know, like you're lifting with your freaking knees, man. You're lifting with your freaking back, man, and you need to lift with your legs, right? You need to learn better socialization form for you. Yeah, people also confuse shyness with introversion, which again, I mean, shyness is a real thing and introversion isn't, so I just hate that people feel the need to classify themselves this way. And it also speaks to a kind of alienation from people who go out and party. Like, if you meet people, if you actually talk to people and care about their experiences, and you want to drink all those sweet, delicious boba directly out of their brain juice, which is the worst way to say you want to understand somebody, you would know, yeah, I'm really sorry. That's not how extroverts feel either, right? I feel like people have this idea like, oh, I don't like clubs, and I watch people go out at clubs, and they dance at clubs. And so I think that they have an infinite social battery, and that this makes them feel energized, and that they could do this forever, and that they like this in a way that I don't. And it's like, listen, I know a lot of girls who go out and dance at clubs, right? They don't experience the world the way that introverts on the internet imagine they do. They're very tired. They couldn't do this for very long. And it's also a familiar environment to them, right? You are unfamiliar with this environment. And so you have all of these ideas about like, oh, it must feel like this to them. But it doesn't feel like that. You know, they have familiar clubs and unfamiliar clubs. They're nervous at unfamiliar clubs. They like to get down and party at familiar clubs, right? It's all quite alien to me because when I dance, I trigger people's uncanny valley feelings. I move in a way that is very precise and very upsetting to look at. And when I try and dance, it looks like if you tried to program a robot to dance, you know? That was actually one of the reasons why as a kid I got called a robot so much. We need to see me dance in VR now? Sure, you can. I will. I explain to people, because I'm really upfront about all this stuff, right? So people will tell me like, oh, Ellie, it's not about how you look. We just want to have fun together. Everybody just wants to dance together. Minnie is a really good dancer. Minnie is a really talented dancer. And people will be like, oh, come on. Like, we're just having fun at a party. It doesn't matter. And then I dance and people are like, oh, huh. Interesting. I don't fully know how to explain it, but it's not what people expect. The mystic arts. Yeah, no, so like people are always like, don't even worry, Ellie, just drop it low. And listen, I can drop it, but I cannot drop it like it's hot. I can drop it like it is, like biohazard materials, and like it must be handled with tremendous care in a very surgical manner. I cannot drop it like it's hot. I can bring it down low, but you won't like it when it happens. Minnie, I will dance with you anytime, Minnie. You are one of the only people who has ever made me feel like a human being when I was dancing. But I really do understand that I make people feel the uncanny valley feelings when I dance. Midwest line dancing? I mean, look, I love a good line dance. I do. But I like being in the band. I like watching people do it. I don't like doing it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really think that's true. If anyone disagrees with any of the opinions I've expressed here today, particularly the ones about doctors and hot autistic girls on TikTok, please take them with a grain of salt. Remember that I am stupid. I pitched myself as such. Yes, introvert and extrovert are scams! I don't know anything. I'm not a philosopher. I don't even have a graduate degree. I did 4 years of university, and that is it, man. Like, listen, if you disagree with me, you're probably right. Like, please. You're probably correct. I'm dumb like rocks, and I never claimed not to be.